Once there was a land called Firamar, tall green mountains, wide blue rivers and small stone towns. People lived simple lives, working, fishing and sharing stories by the fire, but their stories were haunted by loss. Long ago, dragons soared above Firamar. These were not mere beasts, but wise, jeweled creatures, red as fire, blue as the sea, green as the forest. They breathed fire, yes, but also shared secrets of earth and sky. People and dragons were friends, until fear crept in. The Skites, a family of dragon slayers, spread terror. They claimed dragons were monsters and the people believed. The Skites hunted the dragons and one by one they vanished. Only one dragon remained, hidden high in the mountains. Without dragons, Firamar grew quieter, safer but emptier. The magic faded. Wonder disappeared. Children heard only whispers of dragons, legends, dreams, but dreams sometimes wake, and legends sometimes return. The sky was empty, but hope lingered. Firamar waited silent for something to change. The last dragon was not forgotten. The story was not over. It was only sleeping. In a small Firamar town lived Elizabeth, an orphan with a courageous heart. She wasn't afraid of darkness, woods or dragon tales. Elizabeth's only friend was Angro, a quiet, serious boy. They explored forests and talked by the river for hours. Elizabeth dreamed of meeting the last dragon, not to slay, but to befriend. Angro listened, but kept his own secret. He was a Skite, born to hunt dragons. His family expected him to finish their legacy. The weight of this secret pressed on Angro, torn between duty and friendship. One day Elizabeth's eyes sparkled with a wild idea. "Let's find the last dragon," she said. Angro hesitated. This was his chance, but also a test of loyalty. He saw trust in Elizabeth's eyes and felt the battle inside him. After a long silence, he agreed. Two friends, one quest, each with a secret hope. They set out, not knowing their journey would change everything. The mountains called to them. Elizabeth's courage led the way. Angro's secret shadowed every step. The adventure began at dawn. The past and future of Firamar walked side by side. The last dragon waited, and so did destiny. Their fates were about to collide. At sunrise, Elizabeth and Angro began their climb. Elizabeth packed bread, cheese, water and her only treasure, a warm green stone, the golden emerald. Angro brought ropes and tools, his eyes colder than before. They left behind fields, entered shadowy forests, crossed icy rivers. Elizabeth's excitement grew with every step, even as the path grew steeper. The mountains loomed, ancient and silent. "We're getting closer," she'd say, but Angro only nodded. The air thinned, the climb grew hard, but Elizabeth pressed on, clutching her emerald for strength. Angro led the way, moving with a strange purpose. At last, they reached a vast, dark cave, warm air and smoke drifting from its mouth. Elizabeth's heart raced with fear and wonder. "This is it," she whispered. She stepped forward, but Angro stopped her. His face was cold, unfamiliar. The friend she knew was gone. The cave waited, silent and ominous. Elizabeth's dream teetered on the edge of nightmare. The mountain held its breath. The last dragon was near, but so was betrayal. The journey's true test had begun. Firamar's fate hung in the balance. "Wait!" Angro said, his voice icy and distant. He demanded Elizabeth's golden emerald, eyes fixed on the glowing stone. "It's the key to controlling the dragon," he revealed, his ambition clear. Elizabeth recoiled, clutching her mother's keepsake. "No, it's mine," she whispered, confused and hurt. Angro's face hardened. "I am a Skite. It's my destiny to kill the last dragon. You led me here." The truth struck Elizabeth. Her friend was her enemy. Tears of anger welled in her eyes. Angro, stronger, ripped the emerald from her neck. The stone glowed fiercely in his hand. "Thank you for your help," he sneered, turning into the cave. Elizabeth collapsed, heartbroken and alone on the cold mountain. Her trust shattered, her dream twisted into a nightmare. The last dragon was in mortal danger. Elizabeth's courage flickered, but did not die. She stared into the darkness, resolve building. The betrayal was complete, but her story was not over. The mountain echoed with loss and anger. Elizabeth's spirit refused to break. She would not let Angro win. The dragon's fate, and her own, depended on what she did next. Firamar's hope rested on a broken-hearted girl. The cave beckoned. Elizabeth rose. Elizabeth, burning with resolve, plunged into the cave's darkness. Inside, she found Angro before a mountain of treasure, and atop it, the last dragon, sleeping. The dragon Aqua was beautiful and ancient, her scales shimmering like the sky. Angro raised the golden emerald, its light filling the cavern. Aqua awoke, her wise eyes meeting Elizabeth's. A voice echoed in Elizabeth's mind. "My child, you have come home!" Shock froze her. What did it mean? Angro shouted, but Aqua ignored him, her gaze fixed on Elizabeth. The dragon's voice revealed the truth. Years ago, to save her baby from the skites, she used old magic. She turned her daughter into a human, gave her the golden emerald, and sent her away. "Elizabeth, that is not your real name. You are my daughter." The world seemed to stop. Elizabeth's whole life shifted in a heartbeat. She was not just a girl, she was the last dragon's child. The cave pulsed with ancient magic. Angro's plan unraveled. Elizabeth's destiny awakened. The truth was bigger than any legend. Firamar's hope was reborn. The dragon's secret was out. Elizabeth's real story had just begun. The past and future collided in the dragon's lair. Nothing would ever be the same. The truth surged through Elizabeth. She was a dragon's daughter. The golden emerald pulsed with her bloodline's magic. Angro, desperate, tried to command the dragon with the emerald, but it rejected him. Elizabeth felt a pull. Her connection to the stone was unbreakable. She rushed forward, touching the emerald. A burst of green light exploded, throwing Angro aside. The emerald floated, waiting for her. Elizabeth reached out. It landed in her palm, warm and alive. Power flooded her veins, ancient, wild, unstoppable. She was no longer just Elizabeth. She was the heir of dragons, the hope of Firamar. Aqua watched, pride and love in her eyes. Elizabeth closed her hand around the emerald, feeling the world shift. She sensed the mountains, the sky, the magic of her ancestors. The cave trembled with new energy. Angro lay defeated. Elizabeth stood transformed. The dragon's legacy lived on. Firamar's magic was reborn. A new era was dawning. The golden emerald's power transformed Elizabeth. Scales shimmered on her skin, her eyes glowed gold. She was no longer fully human, nor fully dragon, but something new. Angro awoke, terrified by her transformation. "Monster!" he cried, but Elizabeth felt only strength and purpose. The mountain shook with her power. The cave began to collapse. Aqua roared a warning. Elizabeth had to escape. She ran into the sunlight, the world sharper and brighter than ever. She was free, but changed forever. Down in the valley, a dark figure on horseback watched her. Their gaze was cold, curious. A new threat, a new mystery. Elizabeth felt their eyes, sensed the danger. Her journey was not over. Firamar's fate was still uncertain. The legend of dragons had returned, but so had darkness. Elizabeth stood on the mountain, wind in her hair, power in her veins. She was the bridge between worlds, the last dragon's daughter, the hope of Firamar. The adventure was just beginning. Shadows gathered, but so did courage. The sky was no longer empty. Magic had come home. Legends never die, and neither would she.